Hi everyone, we're at the Nikki Haley event right now here in downtown Grand Rapids at the Amway Grand, and there's quite a bit of a crowd. We'll take you through it. There were hundreds of people present at the event, and not all of them were from Grand Rapids, let alone Michigan.
I'm a resident of Illinois, but I figured if she can come up and campaign in Michigan after losing 3 times, I can certainly afford a tank of gas to drive up from Springfield, Illinois, to come here to support her.
Many supporters shared similar enthusiasm about the event.
We need some common sense in Washington. We got to quit all the hatred and all the bigotry and all that back and forth from both sides, not just one side. And we got a common sense person about to show up here, and I support her.
Yeah, I think she presents a compelling vision, still kind of forwarding that conservative philosophy to say, hey, we're going to do small government, we're going to have a strong national defense, and again, kind of push decisions back into state and local jurisdictions, but does bring, as she kind of talked about, and the guy that opened for her talked about, just a different level of character.
There were also a few attendees who were politically aligned as independents and weren't quite sure who to vote for yet, but were trying to get a better feel for who their options were.
Definitely excited to learn more. I saw that Nikki Haley was coming to Grand Rapids. Been trying to learn more about her policies and, see if she's a candidate for president that I want to support. Sometimes in these big elections, it can seem like the candidate is already chosen. So definitely excited that she's still putting her voice out there, putting her name in the ring, if you will. I'm hoping to get a better feel just in general for her policies. I definitely believe that there's work to be done in the economy. I definitely feel like, we need to look at where and how we're spending money. But there's a lot of other important issues as well.
And of course, within a few minutes, the star of the show, who has refused to throw the towel on her bid, appeared in front of her excited audience.
I'm going to give you Governor and former Ambassador Nikki Haley.
Can you hear me okay? Good.
She had a lot to say, and after covering the basic issues that mattered to the people, like immigration reform and healthcare, she addressed the elderly elephants in the room, Donald Trump and Joe Biden.
We need to look at what is at stake here. What are our options? I'll tell you what America thinks our options are. America doesn't want, 70% of Americans don't want a Trump-Biden rematch. The majority of Americans disapprove of Joe Biden, and the majority of Americans disapprove of Donald Trump. Amen. They are the 2 most disliked politicians in America. 60% of Americans think Joe Biden and Donald Trump are too old to be president.
This message clearly sat well with the crowd today, only resurfacing their concerns about their other options for this year's general election from both parties.
I think she's kind of still unknown. I think people are stuck in the rut of they either have one of the 2 other candidates, Biden or Trump. And I think after watching all of the debates, I liked all of her answers, and not only her answers, but the rationale she gave behind the answers too.
Yeah, I know, quite the message. And this only further invigorated her voter base, especially the youngsters and specifically women.
I definitely think that it was very empowering to have a women figure up there, and all of us look up to that, and I think it's very influential.
Nikki is a very empowering woman, and just having her up there and the arguments that she made were very strong, and I just really enjoyed her campaign.
I believe that she's a strong individual and a great role model and knows what she's doing and is very confident, and she doesn't have a risky background like Donald Trump.
And she's definitely somebody new. We've had the same 4 candidates, and I feel like a lot of people don't want that division again, the Trump and Biden race, and I think that having that new candidate up there and having a new voice is very important.
The event just ended, and we're over here. We see a long line of people waiting to see Nikki Haley one time as she's standing at the flag line. And honestly, from this event, all I could capture was this sense of enthusiasm and hope that one day the Republican Party won't have to choose with Donald Trump, and instead will have another option, who would be Nikki Haley. Many of her supporters who I talked to also had messages to share with those who are still trying to figure out who they want to vote for in the primary election as Super Tuesday comes around the corner.
I'd say let's go with common sense. Okay. And right now, common sense is on stage.
You got to go out and vote for Nikki Haley if you care about our country.
Thank you.
Yeah, Nikki Haley, can do anything that Trump can do, but without the chaos. She isn't concerned with herself. She's concerned for America.
Wake up. Donald Trump is doing it for himself. Nikki's doing it more for us.
It's clear that Nikki Haley is trying to garner as much support as she can prior to the primary elections in a large number of states. She even had a classic politician interaction with a baby, and while she didn't kiss the baby as they do in the movies, let's just say that is one hug the baby will never forget.